Hey guys, I wanted to talk about old Earth versus new Earth and how do we know where we are at. So if you are on old Earth, your life is exactly the same. So same town you live in, you might have the same job, still hang out with the same friends, still have the same routine and activities that you do every single day, still listen to the same music. You know, everything is exactly the same. That is old Earth. That means you have not consciously evolved or awoken to your own awareness. And the thing is your own awareness is not just everything around you. So it's not just, understanding what's going on in the world around you, but it's also your own awareness of yourself. And that's where I talk about self-discovery. Because being aware is being aware of everything around you and how it affects you, but it's also being aware of yourself. And so learning and understanding yourself. So being consciously aware is one of the most important things you could ever do for yourself. But that takes up to you to choose that. But if you are still living in the same town, you still have the same job, you still have the same, I'm just going to put it that way. You are still on old Earth. You have not consciously evolved. If you are in new Earth, okay, that old life no longer serves you and everything has changed in your life. So, new place to live, new relationships, new hobbies, new job choices or careers. It's everything. New belief system, everything. You are consciously aware of the world around you. Okay, it's no longer being manipulated or having the world distorted around you and not understanding. You are very consciously aware of everything that's happening around you. You are also very consciously aware of yourself, your needs, your healing journey, everything about you. So, in New Earth, everything has changed. For myself, this happened years ago, but almost 4 years ago, my daughter had graduated from high school, and before she had graduated, I can't remember if it was her senior year. Her senior year, before, graduation had happened, they sent me her information, like just her demographic background with all her credentials, name, address, phone number, parental caretakers, things like that. And her dad and I were divorced at the time, and so she had 2 households. And it actually kind of, at first, when I first realized, or I first got the information, I was going to call the school and be like, hey, you need to change this kind of thing, and because it really kind of affected me pretty hardcore. But I knew it could absolutely be a mistake, so I wasn't upset about it, but at the same time, it kind of hurt my heart a little bit. But then I was going to call up there and say, hey, you got some information wrong, kind of thing, just because of the way it was imprinted on the paper, and it was very, very surreal at that moment. Not just receiving paperwork with your child's information on it, but when I realized not only did I already consciously ascend in my awareness and my, evolve to this new Earth, it was so difficult at first because when I had received her information, it was her credentials, so her name, her middle name, her last name, her date of birth, so I knew, that part was right. It was my kid. But the rest of the information was completely different. So she had a different mom, she had a different dad, she had a different address, she had a different phone number. And I thought, kind of like I said right at first, I thought, well, maybe they just got the information wrong. But I was like, that's absolutely my kid's information other than mom and dad and address kind of thing. But that was, her information was correct. And I was like, I've done working in medical, filing insurance, and making patient records and there's so much paperwork I've always had to do, and I've run my own lab. I've had lots and lots and lots of paperwork that was very crucial in how it was put into the system. And first it was on paperwork, and then we put it into the electronic system. But the thing is it's when you are transferring information, it's very crucial to make sure it's correct. And the way it was put with her information and then other information, that's when I realized it was an error. And it wasn't information that could have gotten mixed up partially on this one, because that would have been two different pieces of paperwork, if that makes sense. So that's when I knew it wasn't a mix-up. We can't take this information off this paper and information off this paper and create it on this paper. Like, that just doesn't work. It would either be this one or that one, not them combined into one. So when I noticed that, that's when I realized it was almost like I was in a different parallel universe. And so when I had got that information, I didn't even contact the school at that point, because it would not have been an effective way of trying to go about it. And so, and it was because I was like literally in a different, I was in a different dimensional consciousness, but I also was in a different parallel reality. And that was because I was on New Earth. And so that's when I really knew I was, again, I was on New Earth, but that's when all my life changed. It wasn't just like I quit hanging out with people, or I quit talking to people, or, I changed my job. In fact, I didn't just change my job, but I sold all my tools. I sold everything, and I was ready to make it big. I was going to get grandfathered into Amazon. They actually asked several times to put my business in there, but I declined because that is not what my mission was. I didn't want to carry out my old job. And so my whole life changed. My business that could have been booming, and being on Amazon and being grandfathered in like through Alexa, I would have been a first to go to as far as my business, so I could have really took it far. But the thing is that's not what my purpose and my passion and what my goal, not even just my goal, but my life mission is. And so between everything that changed in my life, but then once I received that information from the school in regards to my daughter, I knew I had shifted. I was in a completely different reality. And so when you feel like you are in that different reality, you are on New Earth. And that is where you are, how do I put this? You are given the opportunity to live out your divine life purpose and your path. So your life has either not changed and you're on old Earth, or your life has dramatically and drastically changed and you are on New Earth.